Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Katrina Rasbold and Friends. Now, I always say, oh, I'm so excited. I always am so excited. This time, I'm dying because I'm getting to sit in the same room with one of my mentors. And we talked about in the pre-show how she didn't even know she was one of my mentors. And it's just such a pleasure to introduce to y'all Phaedra Bonewits. Phaedra, how you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. Glad you're my friend.
Yeah. And you have another friend.
Yes, this is Jet, as in jet plane, and he'll probably be a nuisance, but if I put him in his cage, he'll just be a really loud nuisance.
And you said we might get some bird tail on the camera at some point.
You might, yes, you might, yes. He's my buddy.
That is wonderful. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start with saying to everybody that I first met Phaedra a number of years ago. I don't even remember how many years ago, at a conference called PantheaCon. And it was one of my intro times to this conference. And I went into, I think it was in the boardroom or somewhere like that, for a discussion on, I don't remember the name of it, but it was basically about how to act in circle.
Mm-hmm. Ritual participation skills.
Yes, that was it.
One of my favorite workshops to give.
I'd already been leading circles for long enough. I was a little bit jaded, and I started to think there's just, I'm excited to learn more stuff, but man, when am I going to learn more stuff? It just seems like it's the rehashed stuff. And then I walked in on Phaedra's presentation and I was rapt. You started talking about how people don't know how to hold the field. Mm-hmm. And that was so meaningful to me as a participant and as a priestess, and the need in ritual to regulate that energy that's moving through the current and how you hit that dead zone.
Yeah.
And it just was so meaningful to me. All of a sudden I was there. I was in my body. I was listening, and it was just wonderful. And I didn't have to ask, who is this person? Because anybody who's been in paganism long enough knows the name Bonewits. And so I didn't have to ask, but wow, I was impressed. And then the next year, I think you came back and taught something different. I don't remember, but I took that one too.
Yeah, I did. That was 2017. That's actually the only time I've been to PantheaCon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I did, I think, 2 or 3 presentations. So you may have been to one of the other ones.
I might have been to one of the other ones there.
Yeah.
And then I was vending, in fact, at Sacramento Pagan Pride,
mm-hmm.
and Kat Gina Cole was coming down, and she said, "Oh, I'm bringing my friend." And I thought, okay, she got a friend that's not me. That's fine. And you just walked in, and I felt these little pretty tears, coming up in my eyes. I was just so pleased. And you sat down and you just talked to us like normal folk, and it was just wonderful. And it was just such a joyful conversation. I forgot to vend. I forgot that everybody else was there around us. It was just like we were just sitting there having our time. And I just appreciate you giving me this time. And what I want to know is, at this phase of your life, and even if you're looking in retrospect, how do you identify yourself?
Well, I'm kind of an old school pagan, pre-internet, 48 years with the tarot cards now. I think I identify as magician, which very much a ritualist, because I cut my teeth before I ever had the opportunity to attend a private coven ritual. I was doing helping put on big, huge public rituals. So I cut my teeth on ritual, and it's very meaningful to me. And sometimes I actually wonder about my relevance, because of so many solitaries now. My group experience have a lot of meaning to them. But if you just pose that question over on Blue Sky, and everybody said, no, it's cool. You should talk about that too. So it's like, okay. I've been reading tarot for 48 years. That's so important to me. I really consider that big heart space for me. And just getting the information and passing it along, because what good does it do if it's just in my head?
Well, in pre-show, you had a conversation that, and you did it again, gave me something that's going to sit in there and spin for a little while. you started talking about in the previous presentation that I was in, where you mentioned something about how when new information comes to you, you want to make sure somebody's there to benefit from it. And I love that you see yourself as a channel for information. And teaching.
I mean, I would not have been able to achieve anything near what I have been able to achieve for what, or what that's considered to be, if it weren't for the people who were generous with me, with their knowledge and with their time and with their, investment in me. Hey, let me show you how to figure this out. So it's this kind of payback,
Yeah, for sure.
Pass it on, pay it forward.
Pay it forward.
Yep.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you did a lot of public rituals. What part of the world did you do those in?
Oh, yeah, I forget everybody doesn't know my whole history.
That's okay.
I've lived in a lot of places, but I am from Chicago.
Oh.
And in the early 80s, I met up with, after looking for them for quite a while, although there were many of them right under my nose, I connected with Chicago Pagans. And there had just started, it was the New Moon Ritual Subcommittee of the Heartland Pagan Alliance. And I just happened to go to a public presentation where they said, we're doing this initial New Moon Ritual in a couple of weeks. And I went, and then I went again, and I went again. And then they asked me to be on the committee, because I figured, I guess 3 times in a row, they knew they had a live one. So before I knew it, and at the time, I was married to an actor. And we had kind of a John and Yoko vibe. I was always going with them to everything in rehearsals, and I found it fascinating. So I realized how much I had learned about theater applied to doing public ritual. So I brought a lot of that with me. And it was a very, very fruitful time. And I really only stopped doing it because I moved out of Chicago. So, but even then, we went down in 94. I was down in North Carolina, and we started doing public rituals in the basement of the Kernersville, North Carolina Public Library.
Wow.
So, it's like, what do you mean we can't do this? Of course we can do this, Oh, it's so terrible where I live. I'm in the Bible Belt. It's like, honey, this used to be KKK headquarters.
That's right.
We're going to do it.
We're going to sage it first, but we're going to do it. So you mentioned that you showed up after showing up 3 times, you're on the board. That's funny because, in legend, you have to ask for something 3 times. In paganism, you just got to show up 3 times. We'll give you something to do.
Oh, I did a lot of study about, I was involved also with the UU Pagans for quite a while. I was even the vice president of Covenant of UU Pagans for a while. And I did some workshops on volunteering. And one of the things that they would say is that you can't just announce, we need volunteers for this. You have to go up to people and say, hey, I think you could do this job. Would you do this job? And you keep asking until they say, don't ask me anymore. So I kind of take that attitude,
volunteers are not a problem. Finding volunteers is a problem. That's difficult. Mm-hmm. And I put on festivals as well. And one of the reasons that we were very challenged is as time went by, we had fewer and fewer people who were interested in stepping up and doing the work that's involved with those presentations. And
it's a lot of work.
It is. And you have a lot of people that they have feelings of low self-worth where they feel like, well, that's running a ritual. I couldn't do that. Mm-hmm. And really, you just need people that are willing to take out the trash and check people in and just do easy stuff.
Mm-hmm. And my attitude somewhat too with rituals, if I know somebody, it's like, of course you can do that. Go, you're doing it.
You're already doing it in your mind.
Right. And they're like, oh, I'm not ready. I said, well, they'll never be ready until you do it.
That's right. It's like childbirth, right?
I wasn't ready.
You'll be fine.
Didn't
Won't hurt a bit.
Right. That's right.
So, where all else in the, I'll leave it to the country, have you been active?
Oh, well, let's see. Chicago area, North Carolina, in the New York area. That's when I was with my late husband, and I've done things at festivals and stuff. I've done rituals and my workshops and stuff in Salem, Massachusetts, Texas, Missouri, Indiana, just kind of a lot. And I lived, before I was into all this stuff, I lived down in Alabama and Florida. So, but
my husband has a theory that if a person is born in one place and they just don't ever venture out, that they're just not living a full life. He said, unless you get out and you see how other people live and what their culture within the culture is like, you're missing out. And it sounds like you did not miss out.
Yeah, the only problem with having a peripatetic career like that is that you leave so many friends behind. And there are lots of people that I know now, considering my health and how crazy everything and stuff is, I don't know if I'm going to see him again. And that breaks my heart. So, and all of you guys out there, come visit me here. We can do that.
We reach a place. Now I'm 64, so I'm a decade behind you. But I already starting to feel that place where I want to reach out and go, hey, I'm not dead yet. Yeah. Message me, it's safe. Go ahead.
Yep.
When
I'll tell you, that's a lot of people dump on social media, but it's social media that has kept me connected to people that I know all over the place.
I feel the same way.
And I will not trash that.
It's been very helpful to me. Now I spent my first 22 years of being married and adult as a military wife. And so that was another way of not being able to form good attachments with people because everything's terminal. They're all going to go away. It took me a long time to really feel settled in after that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
And I was settling in with a whole different husband. Now, you've had some experience with that too. So, of the husbands you've had or partners you've had, I'll include long-term partners or however you want to, what labels you want to use. What percentage of them practiced the faith with you?
Well, the first one I wasn't. It was this was outside my radar still. My second husband, I thought he would be going for it too because he was interested in things like tarot cards and stuff. But it wound up not going well. He didn't like all the time I was spending with my ritual committees. And this is kind of heartbreaking. And he's deceased now. So, but he once told me, well, there were people in my college that were into that air, earth, fire, water stuff, and they were a bunch of flakes.
Wow.
I said, you better reconcile yourself to the fact that you're married to a flake. And that did not go. I really think that there were other issues, but me being involved in this stuff didn't help one bit. But it was too valuable to me. The friendships I was making were too valuable. The skills I was learning and the ability to use those skills were important to me.
For real.
Yeah. So my third husband, we actually met through the public ritual group in Chicago. And so it wasn't that, it was other stuff. But my fourth husband it's a recognizable name, Bonewits. I was married to Isaac Bonewits until he passed in 2010. And obviously that was a real important relationship for me. And for him too. I just found out recently that he had told somebody else that I was his muse.
Oh.
And yeah, I was like,
oh.
And typical goofball, he never told me that to my face. No, I had to hear it third hand.
After he was dead,
later.
thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Hello, bird. That's my good jet. It's a good boy. Yes. So, so really it was only a factor in one of my marriages. Yeah. The rest of it, let's just say I don't pick them. You know.
The first time that my first husband divorced me, one of the reasons that he gave was you talk to things that aren't there and you wear your bathrobe out in public. I can't respect any of that. And there were other factors too, but those were important to him. And so when we got married the second time, I said, well, I got news for you. I still talk to things that aren't there. I still wear my bathrobe out in public. But that would only last 2 years, and then I divorced him. So it was all good. Yeah. But my second husband, well, I guess that's my third husband since I married the first one twice. Now, he was very, very agnostic and wanted no part of any of this. My second husband was just in it to win it. And that was such a different experience.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah.
With my first, I had a little altar out in the garage. He would let it be out in the garage. Now, it's foreign to me now to say he would let it be somewhere. That feels weird to me now. Yeah, I had a little bookshelf out in the garage with all my little crystals and all my little books. And, you know, now I've been with my current husband for almost 30 years. Our house was always a museum, just stuff all over the walls and all over the shelves. And so I just treasure that idea so much. So what do you think happens to you when you die?
Oh boy. Well,
I got nothing but time, Phaedra.
It's interesting because I've really changed a lot of that over the years. Losing my husband at such a young age, he was only 60, made me something of a fatalist and stuff where I don't know what I think anymore. But before that, and some things have come back to remind me too, I kind of like the idea of reincarnation. My older sister actually was ordained as a Swami Hastananda at the Temple of Kriya Yoga in Chicago. And she was also a banker, so, you know, go figure. But so reincarnation was kind of in the air. And I liked the idea that Gardner said that one of the things about being in a coven, basically, was that that initiates we would die and be reborn together and know each other again. And that was pretty cool. No, I'm not breaking any initiatory stuff. Hello, people. I read that before I ever knew any real Gardnerians.
Settle down, folks.
That's right.
Stop gatekeeping. You're not good at it.
And but I've been always fascinated with past life memories. And I had came up with this theory that, well, if you're on part of an initiatory path, then your whole spirit comes back as a whole. You might not remember it, but stays whole. But if you're not, you're just like, who am? It's like a big old soup pot or a stew pot. And you get broken up and thrown in there with everybody else. And then when they need a new spirit, they just kind of dig around with the ladle and scoop some up. So you got a little of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. So that kind of worked for me. It's like, how can I remember this thing and also this thing? And because you were the initiate that gets to come back whole. Now I had a real interesting experience. Was it in the 80s? No, it was in the 70s. Where I went to what was then called the Oriental Institute at the University of Chicago. And Oriental is what they used to call the Middle East, basically. And that fabulous museum. And I went, and we were looking for some stuff, just, cruising around. They had a copy of the Rosetta Stone, my heart. And I'm looking in this glass case, and there's all these old bronzes and stuff. And I look at this one sword, and I go, "Oh, that's a good sword. That's got good balance." And then, what? Where did that come from? And it turns out that it was from Luristan, which is a kind of an obscure civilization from the way back when, the Bronze Age, and they were kind of mostly in Iran and going over into Iraq, going by the modern borders now. But that has stayed with me since, going almost 50 years now. Sure. And so how do I explain that? How do I explain that? And it's like I told a newspaper reporter once, it's there are some things that I've experienced for which the easiest explanation is reincarnation, whether it was out of the soup pot or whatever. So fast forward to today, I get my DNA done. And my son had his done, and he gifted me a kit. And his was just exactly what I would expect. It's all this European stuff. Mine comes back, and there's all this other stuff, and a little Hungarian, a little Russian, a little. The first report I got said trace amounts of peninsular Arab. I'm like, what the hell is that? But they keep refining them, and then they send you new results. Mm-hmm. So the last batch of results was Mesopotamian. I'm like, whoa, me and Inanna, we go way back.
Yeah, you do.
And I laugh because I'm always telling people, DNA is not destiny. Just because you got Irish, 15 generations back doesn't mean you have to do Irish deities and stuff. But it just surprised me how, like I've always been, my most intense connection has been with the deities around the Mediterranean basin, whether it's Egyptian, Sumerian, Greek and Roman, all of that. And a lot of people think I know a lot about Celtic deities because my late husband was like an expert in that. Mm-hmm. Not my thing. He's worried about, what's going on with the Morgan, and I'm worried about what's going on with Sekhmet. So sometimes I disappoint people. They ask me some kind of, involved Celtic question, and I'm like, beats me. My household expert is dead.
I had been teaching Isaac's cult identification parameters for years before I even knew who he was. And the FBI still uses those, if I'm not mistaken.
It's probably one of the most widely circulated things that he's ever done. There was some country that was actually using it too, because they were one of the ones that, if it was a religion, it had to be a religion, and they were using that as one of the things to decide the criteria between what was an official religion and what wasn't. It's kind of mind-boggling, but
it's very succinct, and I will link it, everybody, in the description so you can check that out. Mm-hmm. But it was really helpful because when I was starting to run covens back in, I guess it was the late 80s, early 90s, that was a big concern. Is everybody was saying, well, this is a cult, you're in a cult. Well, of course, some covens do run like a cult. And so I would just make sure all of my people had this and said, if you ever catch me doing any of this, or if you're going to a group and it seems great, but some of these things are happening, pay attention.
That's right. That's right. And, and some people like a real authoritarian atmosphere, it's like no judgment. It's just like, no, what you're getting yourself into,
That's right. Because like they're saying, nobody ever decides to join a cult. It just all of a sudden you sort of think,
yeah.
You're coming through Mademoiselle, and there's Isaac's list there. Huh?
Yeah, and there are some parallels to modern politics too. But
yes, isn't that true?
Yeah,
it's very, very true.
Yeah.
So be sure and read those parameters. I know it was called the ABC. Was it
ABC? It's the
Oh, I'm so glad to see you hesitate. I felt real dumb there. I couldn't remember.
The Advanced Bonewits Cult Danger Evaluation Frame.
That's it. Yes, thank you.
And he had Bonewits Cult Danger thing, and then he's like, "Oh, I've got to." So he made it with the eight that it was all A, C, A, B, C, D, E, F. So that was his sense of humor.
And he was a prolific writer.
He was. Long form, not so much. You know, he went an awful lot of years. Real Magic was published in 1971, and it's been in print more or less since then. But he had a hard time getting another whole book after that.
But he wrote articles, didn't he?
He wrote articles profusely, blogged, all of that stuff.
Not to mention all the ADF volumes and volumes.
Right. And this is when I get snobby.
Come on, bring it.
All of the remainder of his published books, full-length books, all happened after we became an item. So
I just picture him being the kite that's out there flying around. You're holding the string, saying, "Wait a second."
That's about it. Yeah.
And you're with us on Earth for a little bit.
And I remember back in 98, I broached to him. He had been working on a ritual book for years, which never really, I still have all of his drafts for it. That never really came. And I said, you know, ritual is really a thing I'm really interested in. And you got all this material that you're not able to like. I said, maybe this is something we should collaborate on. And he said, "Oh, people are always asking me to co-write with stuff, and I just don't do it." And his last book was Real Energy, which was co-written with the two of us. So,
and it's the one that endures.
Yeah, real Magic and Real Energy are the ones that are still hanging on out there.
Well, I know
Real Energy is available on Amazon as an ebook.
There you go.
It's before any of y'all ask.
I know that you have a thing here and there to do, but if you got those notes, he had the misfortune to die. He doesn't get to vote anymore. So I'd love to see that book with you co-authoring.
Yeah. You know, I've thought about that. I should just start typing it in the computer and seeing, you know, what sense I could make of it. I think he had decided that he was going to do it as a series of books of this kind of ritual and that kind of, and he got one out as self-published called Rites of Passage, which became Neo-Pagan Rites. And Llewellyn actually put it out, but it's out of print now. There are no copies, what have you. But that's kind of how he envisioned it, is to have the Rites of Passage and Rites of Seasonals and stuff like that. So,
well, the good news is that if it's been that long, Llewellyn no longer owns the rights to it.
Oh no, I own the rights.
You own the rights, so you can make that series. And if you need a promotional blurb, I am your girl.
Yeah,
I think that'd be just wonderful.
Yeah.
So that leads us into, and I think I know one of these people. We have a lot of people that influence us through trauma. They influence us by modeling behaviors we don't want to emulate. Who has influenced, and not just one person, but whoever you want to say, has influenced you in a positive way?
I have to say my teachers, some of whom I'm still in touch with, some of whom I don't know. And I think part of it is whether they realize it or not, that generosity of sharing with me and being willing to, you know, go the extra mile. So I got background education training like really nobody else gets anymore. And of course, I'll give myself the points for being there to get it.
Right.
Following through. Well, those are very, very positive people in my life. And I remember, well, how do you learn all this stuff? I said, well, I spent a lot of time sitting around campfires with my mouth shut, just listening. You know? Don't sell short, just listening to learn. And I don't know. I should name a few. Isaac, of course, Krista Hayden Landon, who founded the Covenant of UU Pagans, CUUPS. and dragged me kicking and screaming into the UU world. Althea North of Jor in Chicago, and all the people connected with her. I still keep in touch with people from that original group in Chicago, and had some wild, terribly difficult, ended horribly, but really useful connection with Aidan Kelly way back in the day.
I think that's how most people describe their relationship with Aidan Kelly. He's a festival.
and it was intense. It was short, and I think it kicked me up a whole level.
Yeah. Now, Aidan Kelly was the one that was that leveraged our Mabon argument that persists to this day of the use of the word Mabon, which that's my word.
I hate it.
You're not a Mabon person.
No, it's Mabon for one.
Mabon.
Mabon is our southern pronunciation.
Well, here you go.
I spent a lot of time in North Carolina, so I can follow the accent really easily. But it's Mabon. So it's hard on my ear otherwise.
Oh, I've got it now. See?
Yeah, but
still learning at the feet. There we go.
Yeah,
Mabon.
But Litha and Mabon, we didn't say that. We said, midsummer, summer solstice. We said autumn equinox, fall equinox. What's the other one? Ostara. We never said Ostara either. It was spring equinox, vernal equinox. So I think they're perfectly valid names and perfectly descriptive.
There you go.
And
if Aidan came in and kicked the bucket, right?
And that's right. And if Aidan hadn't made them up and Oberon hadn't liked them and used them for his magazine, we wouldn't be using them today. So I almost have to blame Oberon more than Aidan, because it would have been a little, small group in California using it, but no.
I love that. You heard it here first, folks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and all the things you've done, and there's so many, and this does not have to just be craft-based. What are you the most proud of that you've accomplished?
I'd have to say that book, because I always wanted to be a writer. I don't seem to quite have whatever it takes to complete a book-length manuscript. I do articles like crazy, shorter pieces, but a whole book kind of defeats me. But us doing it together was pretty marvelous.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got that out there. And by a quirk of the publishers, they wanted to have it say Isaac Bonewits. They didn't want to have it say Isaac and Phaedra Bonewits. They wanted Isaac and Bonewits to be together, right? Mm-hmm. So it's as Phaedra and Isaac Bonewits, which means that in all of the online things and cataloging and everything where they drop the second author, I am the author.
You get the credit.
I get the credit. So it's like, thanks.
Well, Dorothy Parker, and you're probably one of the few people I can say that name to that knows who she is.
Absolutely.
Dorothy Parker said that writing is the art of applying the ass to the chair. And I always thought that was fascinating.
Yes. Until your eyes bleed. Yes.
That's right. Well, if you ever need a co-author, let me know, because man, those manuscripts are amazing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, your participation in Real Magic is what made that book happen. So I'm grateful for that.
Real energy.
Not real magic.
I didn't know him in 1971.
Yeah, different. Sorry, that was if I did edit videos, that's one of the things I would edit.
Yeah, we met in 1989.
So, what movie or podcast, TV show, book are you enjoying lately?
Well, for some reason, I've never gotten into podcasts. I think the only podcast I ever watched was Dancing with the Stars podcast because it was on my TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've got a subscription to BritBox, which I'll probably cancel when the price goes up again when it comes around to a year, So I've been watching a lot of Miss Marples and mysteries and all of that stuff. And I kind of wondered a long time ago, I thought, why am I so interested in mystery stories? You know, with Sherlock Holmes, I can't tell you how many times I've read Sherlock Holmes. And I finally decided it was because the mystery always gets solved. The puzzle is completing, you know? And I find that really satisfying.
For sure.
So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And I'm rereading some of the James Hillerman Navajo novels. And I've been reading a lot of fiction lately.
So just in case it comes up and you do end up canceling your Brit box, which I have that too. If I'm not mistaken, I think PBS Passport also has the Miss Marple and Poirot and all those as well. And they just take a donation. So that.
Yeah, I got to keep that in mind. Yeah. Because I don't have cable anymore. All I do is stream. So
same here.
Yeah.
That was hard for me to break that, but I was glad that I did.
Getting so expensive.
Oh my God.
My local provider is just, they make a big deal about not having contracts. And what that means is since you don't have a contract with them, they can raise it anytime they want, as much as they want. And I would call up and I say, well, this is so expensive, I'll cancel it. And they go, okay. It's like, no, wait a minute. That's not right.
You're supposed to send me to customer satisfaction and customer retention.
So, okay, so much for that.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Do you have anything now? This is a contentious question for me because mine is very tiny. Do you have anything left on your bucket list that you want to accomplish?
There's a lot, much of which involves travel, which has become more and more difficult for me with mobility issues. I have bad feet and bad ankles, and you disturb bones down at the bottom and everything else gets a little weird. So all the things connected with travel, no, I can't do. And I'm also on insane, I think when I had chemo, it really messed up my innards. And the list of things I can no longer eat is very long. And I just think about that sometimes with traveling. It's like, what am I going to eat? So that's a huge disappointment for me. Man, if I would like to go to a Major League Baseball game, I haven't been to one since the 80s. Last time I was at a baseball game, the Cubs Wrigley Field didn't have lights, which is a point of reference for people who are into that sort of thing. Used to live in that neighborhood. What else? Man, going to Europe and seeing the Louvre and the Tate Gallery and all that, that's not going to happen.
What food do you miss the most that you can't eat now?
Pizza. I can't eat wheat. I can't eat dairy. And I can't eat tomatoes.
That's every food in the world.
Yeah, not to mention everything on a pizza.
Yeah.
And, you can get non-wheat crusts, but and it just ain't the same. Ice cream is another one because the substitutes are so disappointing as a substitute. It's like, I'd just rather not have it than have the substitute. I tried to make a root beer float with fake ice cream and a really good root beer, and it just ruined the root beer. So what do you do?
Oh, no. No, that one's like relationships. If you can't get the real thing, don't even bother.
Yeah. But I can't eat dairy. I can't eat fruit. I can't eat some sweet, the sweeter end of vegetables. I was out to eat with my friends, and the waiter comes over. He goes, "What would you like for dessert?" I said, "What do you have that doesn't have wheat, dairy, or fruit?" And he's like, "So you're not having dessert?" That's it,
And he was on the verge of getting a tip there, wasn't he?
So no, I knew I was teasing.
Say that again.
I knew I was just teasing him. He got on my
So, are you a vegetarian?
No, I'm not. I
So, can
just,
you eat proteins and meat?
yeah, I simply can't digest those things. I can't digest fructose.
Mm.
So high fructose vegetables are a problem. Dairy, forget it. And wheat's been a problem on and off for most of my life, actually. So it's very limiting. Now, thank goodness there's enough awareness of things like celiac that I can, well, I used to go, and if they had a gluten-free bun, I would say, then I can have a hamburger. Just don't put cheese on it, Then I got this tentative diagnosis of gout in one of my ankles. And what are you not supposed to have? Beef. So no more hamburgers. And I'm hoping it's not final yet. They might find out it's not gout. But it just seems like my dietary choices keep narrowing, and I'm much too much of a hedonist to enjoy that.
Well, I know what you're having for supper. As soon as you get that diagnosis that it's not gout.
Oh yeah, we'll go out and have hamburgers.
There you go.
I keep saying, if I knew I was going to die in a week, I would be eating all that stuff.
And you'd pay for it your last 3 days, right?
Yeah, who cares?
Dying anyway.
That's right.
It's funny when Jet flies into frame, I get this momentary Tippy Hedren panic. And then I remember it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yes.
So what's your favorite part of the day?
Probably first thing in the morning. I'm not a morning person. But I'll just lay in bed and look at things on my phone, and I'll keep a watch on the time because I want to get him up at regular times. And then if I'm showered and dressed and everything, and it's still, I'll feed him, and he gets to stay in his cage for about an hour after that. And I just, go on my computer, and everything is peaceful unless somebody decides to be noisy. But it's kind of a peaceful time for me.
When I wake up in the morning, I think my first thought is, I'm still here. I'll get another one. That's amazing.
Peppers.
So this one's kind of loaded. If you could go back to any point in time in your life with full knowledge you've got right now and tell your past self something with the understanding that your past self would listen, they might not do it, but they would listen, where would you go and what would you say?
I think what I would say is it's only a dead end if you give up. And there are more than one place where I would be wanting to do that. Because I feel like I've tried a lot of different things, and I hit what turned out to be a lot of dead ends. Could have gone this way in a career, could have gone that way in a career. The only thing that I feel like I really stuck with and made a lot out of it was magic and ritual.
Yeah. So what you can do is go back to the earliest one you would go back to and give them a card, and just what you say to them is read this from time to time.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So go ahead.
I went to art school and I wound up, helping write a book. So go figure.
Did you at least design the cover?
Oh no. It was not self-published. It was through a regular publisher, and they, of course, did all that.
One of the challenges I had, because I self-published and then I went mainstream and then I went back to self-publishing. One of the challenges I had with mainstream publishing is that I cannot really feel the book and write it until I see the cover.
Really?
And so you don't see the cover until the book is pretty much done.
Right. You don't always have much say in that either.
You sure don't.
Nope.
So that was a challenge. I still got through it. And that was one of the many challenges, but I'm very grateful to be back in self-publishing now.
Well, it's funny because the way we wound up writing Real Energy is a publisher approached Isaac with the title. They
Oh,
had the title and the subtitle and everything. They said, can you write a book to fit this title? And he's like, and they said, well, can you get a collaborator? He was like, well, I don't know how I get for a collaborator. And I'm sitting at the desk next to him going, hello.
right here.
Energy, it's kind of a thing that I get into, So that's how that book happened. But that's, mainstream publishing can be strange like that,
It's an odd experience, and I wanted it. I asked for it and I got it. I'm grateful that I did it for probably, I think it's a total of 5 years that I did mainstream publishing. And it was an experience for sure. I'm glad that I did that. It taught me a lot.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to promote?
Well, you can get Real Magic and Real Energy on Amazon or ask your local bookseller. I think Real Energy is now only available as an ebook, but Real Magic, you should be able to get hard copies.
And which is the one that you wrote with him? I want to make sure. Real Energy.
Right.
I'm right. I'm making notes. I'm not ignoring you. So
it's quite all right. Yeah.
And then we want to put up the ABCDEF.
Right. Which I think is .html, all capitalized, on neopagan.net. Yes, you can find a whole bunch of Isaac's writings and a little bit of mine on neopagan.net.
Got it.
.net.
.net.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Stuff's still out there. Beyond that, I don't know. I've considered myself semi-retired for a while. It's like, I like doing things. I like making appearances and all that stuff. But my tolerance for things being a hassle has gone way down. Right. So if you want me to come and talk, send me a plane ticket. Thank you.
And I want a place to stay too.
Yeah, exactly. And you better pay for my food. That's I can't be out of pocket on anything.
What little food I can eat, you're paying for.
Oh, no kidding. God.
You could always go all Mick Jagger or whoever it was that just wanted the green M&Ms or didn't want green M&Ms.
Yes. Well, there's a story behind that.
Tell me.
They did put that in their rider. And the reason they did that was to make sure the promoter was reading the whole thing.
So I think my son mentioned something about that.
That's I didn't give a damn about brown M&Ms. What they wanted to do was make sure that it was being read. Because if they were catching that, they were catching everything else.
True story. Yeah, that is just wonderful.
Smart people.
So something else I want to say that relates to Phaedra is if you have a writer that you really enjoy or somebody that you consider to be, and I don't want to say invisible mentor, but a mentor doesn't know that you're there. You're invisible. Make sure you reach out to him because that benefited Phaedra actually.
Yeah, it did. It did. Write reviews. Absolutely. Write reviews. If it's 3 words, I really like this. That means a lot.
Something. Just let them know you're reading. Let them know you appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that you're there. Even if it's an article, a blog post, a video, whatever it is, say something.
It really does mean a lot. Yeah. And you can find me on Facebook. I have too many friends. You can follow me on Facebook or on Blue Sky.
And we'll post those social media links too. More notes. There we go.
Blue Sky, I like to give witch tips and ritual tips and things like that. So if you're interested in that, that might be a good thing for you to take a look at.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
It's fun for me. Like, what can I think of that I can fit in this many words?
Oh, it's one of the limiting ones, huh?
Yes. So, yeah, it's like Twitter in the old days when everybody was kind of nice.
back then for that 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
It's funny how, and I'm speaking as a writer, when you have a word limit or your editor says, tighten this up, and you have to go through and figure out what is important. What are the operative things I'm saying here? It is such a personal exercise.
It really is. And also, stylistically, well, look at this is a bunch of, I think that this should, does that I think need to be there and all those kind of what's the word? I'm like qualifiers.
Yeah.
You know? So I think it's a good way to keep me focused on keeping my prose polished.
I'm a very, you may have noticed, verbose person. And it shows me how many extraneous words I use to convey what I want to say and how much more powerful it is to just say what you want to say.
Yeah, I see a lot of long posts now on Facebook, and I wonder, I suspect that many of them are AI written. But what I am noticing, it's such a heartwarming story, though. I'm sorry, it's AI.
It's AI.
Yeah. But how the length gets there by them being so repetitive. I told you something like in the first paragraph, and now they're telling you it again in the 10th paragraph. And again, it's like, no, don't drag it out. Yeah.
Another thing that was really important to me was when I started working as an editor, and I'm editing other people's work and thinking, oh, I do that. That's bad.
Yep.
Makes you a lot more critical about what you're putting out there, because you're going to have an editor someday. You want to make it as easy.
I've done some editing myself. I edited one of the anthologies that Oberon put out, and did a certain amount of editing on Isaac's stuff, and I laugh because he would have had trouble with old Twitter and Blue Sky, because I got into this thing where I thought, well, maybe I could just put like sentences, quotes from his books and stuff. That man did not know how to write a short sentence. How much editing am I comfortable doing it and still calling it a quote?
I want to say James Michener was one that would just describe a mountain for 3 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, put some periods in there.
There he is.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. Thank you, you little snot.
That's wonderful.
Somebody was perched on top of the monitor.
The one thing I have to say that I would love if people just took a little bit of course on are commas. Commas and semicolons. Holy Christ.
I absolutely agree.
Never met a comma you didn't want to just invite to an orgy, because it's like do. Well, hello, Mr. Jet.
He's agreeing, you see?
He is. He's nodding about the comments. Phaedra, thank you so much for agreeing to this and being here, and
it's fun
spending time with our folks. And everybody, if you got questions for Phaedra, put them in the comments. I'll refer them on to her if she doesn't catch them. And we're just so glad that you're here, Phaedra. Yes. We're glad that you folks are here watching us. And we're going to say goodbye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Jet.
Take care. Bye, Jet. Thank you, folks. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, we are out.